Hey, Chandra. So we are looking at an Azure tenant with it looks like 4 management groups and a total of 80 subscriptions. And
That's
we're
right.
going to bring those subscriptions into pipes as connections. How's that going to happen?
Right. So we're going to make that happen with pipes integrations. And I'm going to flip over to pipes integrations. And as you can see, you can start a new integration and we pick the Azure one for this demo. Click on next. This is going to be the public cloud. And just going to paste some dummy IDs here.
Okay.
All right. And we're going to do a test of the credentials.
So full disclosure, behind the scenes, we swapped in real IDs. We just didn't want to show them.
Yeah, and of course our keys are working fine. So it's discovered all those management groups and the subscriptions along with it. And all we have to do now is proceed to the next step. So Pipes is going to import all your management groups and the subscriptions. And you can choose which workspaces have access to those connections that are going to get created for you after the integration is done. You could choose all workspaces, or you could have them accessible on specific workspaces, or you could just go ahead with no permissions for now.
And why would I choose none? That would be because I just haven't decided what to do yet.
Exactly. Or you might not have any workspaces. You might want to create the integration first and then decide which workspaces get those permissions and so on and so forth.
Okay.
For the purpose of the demo, we'll just go with all workspaces and we click on create integration. It's started the connection sync. In a short while, it's going to start figuring out all the management groups. I think it has already done it. And now if I click through this folder, you'll notice that it's got all the subscriptions and the management groups. And if you drill down, you'll notice that it's got all of them in the exact structure that you have in your Azure tenant. And
Nice.
the good thing about this is that now anytime you make any changes to the management groups subscriptions in your Azure tenant, all those are going to be synced back to pipes.
Right. And delegation of permissions in pipes matches what you would be doing in Azure.
Exactly. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And now that you've added the management groups and subscriptions, which have been created as connections, you want to be able to query them. So you would want to add them to the workspace. So we'll head over to the workspace. We have one here. And we go to the connections, and you can see that the management group is visible here.
Okay. Now hang on, I see a new thing here, add to schema. That wasn't there before. What's that?
Exactly. So although the management group as a folder and the connections are visible to the workspace, they're not yet queryable because we don't automatically add them all to your workspace. We leave that decision to the workspace owners and operators so that you have fine-grained control over which folders you want to add, which connections you want to add to the schema and make them queryable.
Okay.
So by clicking on add schema, add to schema, you then add those things to the workspace schema and then be able to query them.
Okay. So we can do this at any level of the tree.
Exactly. You could go all the way down and then just pick just one of those, or you could go all the way up and then just say, get me all of those connections. So
Okay.
for this, we could probably just pick a small one, which has somewhere close to, I guess, 60 connections,
Yep.
and we could still do that. And we'll just add it to the schema. And what this is going to do is, because this is a bunch of Azure connections, Pipes is automatically going to create an aggregator for you, which is aggregating all those 60 Azure connections. It just makes it easy for you to query all of them at once,
Mhm.
but you can still continue to query each one of them individually.
Right.
So now let's head over to the query tab to start querying our Azure resources. So as you can see, we have all those Azure connections and also the aggregator that's aggregating all these 60
Okay.
connections. Now let's try querying one of those.
Yeah, maybe Azure storage account
Right. So here we are. It's taking a bit of time, and then it's going to list the storage account.
for that one connection. Okay.
That's one connection, 30 rows. Let's try that with the aggregator and storage account.
Okay.
you go.
There it is. This is fantastic. Let's think about what you would have had to do to get those management groups and 80 subscriptions into pipes manually. It'd be insane, right?
Right, yeah, and almost impossible unless you write some kind of a Terraform script to do that automatically. But even then, with integrations, you get to do the sync where any changes that you make on your Azure tenant management groups and subscriptions gets reflected way back into your pipes org, and it just becomes easy to manage that way.
Right. This is beautiful. People are going to love it. Thank you, Chandra.
Thanks a lot, John.
Thanks for watching. If your organization could benefit from Turbot pipes, get started today with a free developer account at turbot.com/pipes. See the video description for links and details.